gonna skip through a lot of personal, really fucking stupid stories. I think on the last day, or one of the, like the 2 or 3 days ago, I think there's, yeah, I think it's like 2 days before she leaves. I don't remember how this happened, but Melina also found out.
Was that wasn't Mo, was it? Was that Mo? Say in my Discord if that was Mo. I don't think it was though.
That Tim had been lying to friends of hers about things that she'd said. And I'm still thinking, like in my mind, like Melina must be trying to weed this guy out, right? So I start giving Melina advice on like, well, when you're dealing with like abusive or manipulative people, it's really important if they are contacting mutual friends that you need to start contacting your mutual friends as well. Because what's going to happen is if they like poison the well against you, it's going to be impossible for them to believe anything that you say in the future. Like you're going to get completely fucked by this. And she was like, well, okay. And I'm like, you should contact all your mutual friends and find out if he's actually like, you know, poisoned the well. Also, as a quick aside, there are other friends that I thought that I had.
So I said this earlier. I'm trying to forgive like some of the mouth issues now that I know he's on. Now I know he's got a new Invisalign. But yeah, it does look like he's gurning like fuck. Like just watch his jaw and the way he's talking is like so stiff.
Sweden that like mysteriously stopped responding to me. I think it was because of Tim. I brought up the Seth Everman thing that one time on stream as a meme, kind of. He's part of that friend group. I think me and him were going to do music stuff in Sweden. He seems like a cool guy. I like him. He's funny, and he's really cool with his music stuff. He seemed like he wanted to do something, and then one day he just completely stopped responding to my messages. And I also had Melina tell me that Tim had told another person in that friend group not to hang out with me. Although when Melina said it, she's like, I think it was kind of a joke, but I don't know if the other guy took it that way. So I'm like, huh, interesting. Okay. So Melina starts
I'm not building an audience
of
of Bosch fans. What are you smoking, JP?
She starts finding out that Tim is talking shit about her, lying about things she said to these friends. And yeah, I'm like, okay, well, damn. I think on the day before she left, I think that yes, okay, I will address this rumor. This is why Forsen doesn't talk to me. Forsen is also part of the group of friends. Tim told Forsen never to communicate with me on stream. That's why we've also not talked with each other on stream. Okay. It is true. There you go. Okay, I've addressed the rumors. All right. There's a specific conversation that I remember where we're kind of standing in the living room. Melina's talking to a really close, or was at the time, might be again, I don't know. Melina's talking to a really close friend. And I kind of like point at Melina. I'm like, hey, you should ask this guy, or you should ask this friend of yours, like, hey, you know, has Tim said anything that you said about that friend? And Melina asks, and lo and behold, this friend says, well, yeah, Tim said that you said this like really shitty thing about me. And Melina,
I'd just like to point out, we haven't actually been shown a single receipt yet.
Obviously, also, I know Melina and I know this friend of hers. There's no way Melina said this about this friend. I know that there's no shot that she said this. And Melina immediately, because like, no, I would never say that. This would never happen, blah, 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 blah. I swear to God, blah, blah, blah. And you can tell the way that that other friend responds, this idea has already taken root in her brain. They're like, yeah, well, you know, I could understand if you would say blah, 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 you know. And me and Melina are chatting later, and I'm like, this is what I mean when I say
this is the thing, dude. You can say this is his side of the story, but we would not accept it from a woman making a twit longer to call a guy abusive without showing any evidence of it. So why are we accepting it from Destiny? The thing is that all the claims Melina made about Destiny being abusive seem to have been in private to mutual friends. Oh, exactly your point. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like, you have to get ahead of people like this, because if they get there first and then you try to contradict what they're saying, it's going to sound like you're just like coping or doing damage control. It doesn't work that way. You have to get ahead of everybody. So all of this happens. There's more stupid stories. I'm not going to get into all of it. But at this point, I feel like I have like the whole picture, right? So the guy's like clearly manipulative because he's telling lies about things that Melina's saying, telling lies about things Melina's friends are saying, all in an attempt to like control her friend group, which I think is really weird. He's very abusive, I would say, threatening suicide and doing these types of things. I would say are abusive things. You're trying to gain control over a person and force them to act in ways they might not otherwise because you're threatening some sort of harm either to yourself or somebody else. And then obviously toxic, right? He's not approving of a current relationship. He's like obviously causing emotional distress, etc., right? I feel like at this point, I feel like all of these thresholds have been not only met, but easily exceeded, right? Also, keep in mind that of all of this, they've only known each other for 2 months, okay? So all of this happens in 2 months, all right? Jeez. That happens. It's whatever. At this point, God, fuck, I have such a fucking good gut feeling on all of this shit. And I hate that I let people gaslight me so much, okay? When he said in Henry Resilient last summer, he meant like 6 months ago. I don't know what he meant. I'm pretty sure that what MemeTix was saying is he probably saw Melina at a party the summer before last, but him and Melina started to become friends about 4 months ago, I think, and then started dating when he cheated on his girlfriend to fuck her probably about a month into that, okay? I think that's about like the timeline. So I think they've been dating for about 3 months. They've known each other well for maybe like 4 or 5 months. I don't know if like a month has passed since it was maybe like 4 or 5 months. But yeah, to say it was like 2 summers ago when they started hanging out, that's not true. So at this point, next day happens. I think Melina goes, I'm driving Melina to the airport. I'm in kind of like a strange mood because Melina's still like very clearly running a lot of damage control for this guy to a lot of her friends. And it's kind of mind fucking me. Now again, let me reiterate, because Melina always tells these stories to people as though Steven is jealous and he's scared of losing me. And I think Steven is just like upset that I'm like talking to another guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but in my mind, I'm just like, I just don't understand how these double standards are existing where you're working so hard to defend this guy to like all of your friends, even though he's like clearly like fucking horrible, but you trash me to like all of your friends. It's like kind of weird. It's mind fucking me, but whatever. As we get to the airport, you know, I tell Melina, I'm like, I feel like I'm probably never going to see you again because it feels like you're mind fucked over this dude. And, you know, she's crying, telling me, no, I'm coming back. It's fine, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. It feels pretty weird. My gut was 100% correct, by the way. But she gets on the plane. She flies back to Sweden. And then I come back home. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. In my mind, what I feel like is probably going to happen is I feel like Melina is going to go back to Sweden and then slowly start to phase this guy kind of like out of her life. That would be my assumption because he's so obviously manipulative, toxic, abusive. Like it's like all of behaviors are like, obviously this guy's going to get cut out. There's no shot that it changes. Lo and behold, in like within a week, they're completely back to where they were prior to me getting there. They're hanging out all the time. All this shit is happening, blah, 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 blah. And now I'm starting to get like a little bit worried because I don't know what exactly is happening. So my mental state at the time, he keeps looking at his teeth. Yeah, I got Invisalign today. It feels really fucking weird. So my mental state at the time was I was thinking like, I don't know if Melina's getting like mind fucked into some like weird, like abusive relationship stuff. And I have no idea how to address this. I try to talk to her about it, but anytime I bring him up or how he's like abusive or manipulative, she kind of just like zones out and doesn't respond to anything I say. And she doesn't seem to want to talk about anything.
Well, because it seems like this guy, she's putting more effort into the relationship and she's moving over to that side. It seems like both you, all three of you are probably kind of abusive. So it's just sort of like, which one is she going to pick? The abusive guy who she gets to always be around, or the abusive guy that doesn't give a fuck and is always off doing something else? I just don't know what is he expecting to happen here.
And I'm like, okay, that's whatever. When I try to reach out to a couple of mutual friends about it, they also say that like, yeah, it feels like Melina doesn't really talk about this particular thing to us anymore. A couple of friends say it doesn't feel like Melina talks to me at all anymore. And now in my head, I'm getting like super worried. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's like legitimately like isolating her from every single friend in her life and just like completely sucking her into whatever, you know, fortress arc I guess he's got going for his shit.
She's stuck in Sweden for like 5 months and you're confused as to why she's spending more and more time around his friends and him. Like, that doesn't necessitate that he was cutting her off. You have to show some evidence for that, surely.
I have a phone call with they weren't my friend at the time, but I have a phone call with a mutual friend. No, not a mutual friend. I'm trying really hard not to reveal names. I don't like. I've already like fucked some people's friendships and lives up more than I wanted to because really a month ago. Which I'm sorry, I truly didn't mean to. Sorry, this is fucking messy and weird. But I have a call with the friend that is hanging out with Melina and Tim, and I'm trying to ask them questions about like, do you feel like anything weird is going on here? Initially when I reach out, I try to be like as neutral as possible. Like, hey, what's up? I just wanted to chat. I just had a couple questions about this. You know, I don't see what's going on. And also like, I understand if you think it's weird. Like you don't have to hide anything. You can talk to them too if you want. I'm just like trying to get some feedback to figure out what's going on. They start telling me like, yeah, I've actually kind of seen some really weird stuff and it's kind of really concerning and I don't like this guy either. And you know, I'll keep my eyes open and maybe we'll chat in a few weeks. And I'm like, okay, let's find out, I guess, whatever. Push it sideways a couple of weeks.
I'm not even denying that this happened. I'm not even denying that maybe there are bad signs and this guy is abusive. But the Destiny's admitted to plenty of abuse himself, so I just don't understand how is any of this justification for anything. You've admitted to doing fucked up stuff too. Like, yeah, two fucked up dudes are both vying for attention, and she's chosen the one that she's more able to spend time around. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be outraged about in terms of like what Destiny's describing here.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Am I missing anything? There's just so many random, stupid, personal, dumb things.
What do you mean, so why are you watching? Because I'm commentating on it. Because I've got 250 viewers and I'm making money off of this. Retard. So Session Chat says, all of the storytelling, it still is very obvious how much you care for her. How much you care for her well-being, despite it all. Admirable. Dude, I hate DGGs so much. This is so parasocial. Oh, you're so nice, Destiny. You're so cute. Oh, it's so your relationship was so good. I'm so sad it's ending. Bro,
we push it sideways a couple weeks. A couple weeks.
White people are happy.
I'm having a really hard time. Really, because of maybe we'll get into this later. Because of my mental image of Melina, I'm having a really hard time understanding what's happening. Because him and Melina are as close as ever. Every stream together, living together, blah 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 blah. And I don't understand how all the toxic shit hasn't like mind.
How much money did you make? The amount of times I've pressed this push ad button. Who knows? It might be decent with 250 viewers.
Fucked her yet. She tells me another story where she's like, yeah, you know, I had to do an interview and, you know, I was trying to get out of bed, but Tim, you know, never wants me to fucking work or do anything. And when I got out of bed and I started doing the interview, when you came up and I started speaking positively about you, Tim stormed out of the apartment. He got up, he stormed out, he slammed the door. And when Melina texted him, was like, hey, what's up? Or what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna go hang out with that other girl that, you know, that you really want to hang out with. I'm like, okay, Jesus. That happens among a couple other stories, right? Push it sideways a couple weeks. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I start checking like Melina's socials, like to check out all of her like stream stuff and everything else. And I start to notice that like basically, I feel like a lot of her business stuff is sliding. All she's keeping up with is like her streaming stuff, all the clips she's posting from interviews she did like a year ago. She's like awake until 5 a.m. every day. I don't know if she's like doing her gym shit anymore. It doesn't seem like it. Like I'm starting to notice like all these things. Then I start to like super spiral fucking hard. And I'm like, holy shit, I think Melina is legitimately getting sucked into like some horrible like abusive relationship. And I have no fucking idea what the playbook is like from here, from my point of view, because typically when people get into abusive relationships, if you don't know.
Oh, Donor coming in. Thank you, Outlaw 2. Wait for us to play. Taking a minute.
If you have a friend that is getting sucked into an abusive relationship, the only thing that you can possibly do is just be
that's really taking some time.
Supportive of the person.
So,
you can't.
There we go.
Outlaw 2 super chatted $10. Food shops and Kui sitting in a tree. KISSING. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a baby carriage. Name your baby after us in chat.
Thank you, Outlaw 2. Thank you, Outlaw 2. Thank you.
Support the relationship because it's obviously toxic, but if you provide any pushback on the relationship, the person will cut you out of their life because then they feel bad. So it's a really difficult decision to be in, or a position to be in. Even more so when it's like a daughter, which is annoying. Daughter turns 18, meets some guy that's like, 30 years old. And
oh, fuck, Bugs wanted a combo intro for the debate, for the fucking debates, didn't he? I'll do it at the end of this video.
Or whatever, and it's like, and the guy's like abusing her, and the dad's like, fuck, I can't do anything. Or with obviously in my case, my fucking wife. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is kind of intense. So I start to get like pretty concerned. At this point, I think I reach out to, because I just wanted to chat, because I was just curious. One thing that I constantly try to do, even though people say I don't do this, whatever, kill yourself. I really am trying to find like critical information from my perspective, because I'm like, maybe I am missing something. Maybe I'm predisposed to not like this guy for some reason. Like maybe, I don't know, like what the fuck is happening or whatever. I'm not sure. I try to reach out to Melina's dad and sister, because I know they've hung out with him. And then I try to reach out to one mutual friend to talk to them. And what I find out is, I find this out later, Melina and Tim, as soon as they find out that I've contacted somebody, they run to that person. They say that I'm having a crazy manic episode and to not talk to me.
Didn't he just say he started death spiraling? Didn't he just say that? Isn't that...
That's where, by the way, when you saw Tim type that manic thing in YouTube chat, that's where that comes from. Because Melina was telling everybody that I was having a manic episode because I was being possessive and controlling, that I was actually being abusive, and that I was trying to like talk shit about Tim to all of her friends.
It may well have felt that way.
Now, I will say here, okay, I'll give mad props to Melina, because I thought Melina was retarded when I told her to get ahead of the Tim stuff, and I gave her like the tips on like how do you deal with, abusive people. But she did take my advice. I just didn't know she would apply it against me. So mad props to Melina there. Okay, she did get ahead of me talking to anybody, and started telling her friends and family like, oh, Steven's having a manic episode, don't talk to him, blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, well, based, okay, well, nobody will talk to me at all. Even though I'm kind of like, she was like, yeah, why would you reach out to my sister? I'm like, you understand that technically it's my sister too, right? Like I am your husband, right? Like, I don't know how you can freak out so much that I'm trying to talk to a friend to see if you're okay. That seems bizarre to me. Like, it's not like I've shit talked to you. Like, if you want, you can go read the logs. I'm not like making shit up. I'm not like saying anything crazy. I'm legitimately just worried that you're like in some crazy shit.
I mean, yeah, we would have to see what these logs look like. But I mean, there's not necessarily anything wrong with Destiny reaching out to people in Melina's family to make sure that she's okay. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but there are ways in which that could be wrong, and it depends what the discussions they've had about it beforehand, whether it's whether Melina's expressed that it might be an invasion of privacy to go and start asking around about her if that's the way she feels about it. There's just so many factors to know whether this is okay or not. But not on the face of it, it's not necessarily wrong.
Let's see, pushing it sideways, days and days and days. I think this is the time. I think at this point, now I'm getting super concerned. I have a call with one of the one mutual friend again that I'd called, I think, a couple weeks earlier, and she tells me more about what's
an invasion of privacy is set according to the boundaries of the individuals in the relationship. You can't just say, "Oh, it's his wife, so it's not an invasion of privacy." No, that's not how it works.
Going on between them. I ask her, for instance, if
Destiny agrees to a level of privacy,
so
then
cool. I'm sorry.
That's what it is.
I'll do 2 stories or whatever, okay? I asked this friend, how things been going. She's like, yeah, it's I can't hang out with Melina at all without Tim being there. It just doesn't happen. One time she talks about how when they were at a restaurant, apparently Tim doesn't like this girl much, but Melina really likes her. And Tim gets up and he says, I want to go. And Melina and the other girl are at the restaurant, and he stands up and Melina looks at him, and the other girl looks at him, and Tim is like, I want to leave. And Melina's like, am I supposed to go with you? And he's like, And apparently he makes this stupid fucking noise like 10 times.
Source, citation needed.
And then eventually Melina's like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to go. And then Tim looks at the other person and he's like, well, if you leave now, this person's going to think I'm being an asshole. And then he looks at the other person and waits for them to say that it's okay. And then eventually, like, Melina's right. So I'm getting more stories like this. And, yeah.
Can we start seeing some evidence, please? Please? Just a shred, Destiny?
So I'm trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is happening. I think at this point, I try to talk to Melina a little bit about it, but I can't say anything to her, because anytime I try to push on any of these things, Melina shuts down. She says, I don't want to talk about this. You're being too judgmental. And I'm like, okay. I think around this time, I'm being dramatic. I'll admit it. I am being dramatic. I think I unfollow her on social media. I tweet out about like
I met Memetics in a grocery store. He pulled out, what was it? Got a bunch of Snickers and took them up to the front there. I thought about asking for a photo, but I didn't want to be an ass. I said I wanted to ask for a photo, but I didn't want to be an asshole. Oh, what you mean? Like you're doing right now? He took Snickers up to the counter and said they need to be scanned individually to prevent electronic interference. Right.
When somebody you like, regresses 10 years in an abusive relationship.
I can't remember it all. I have to pull it up.
She DMs me and she's like, why did you unfollow me on Instagram? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I unfollowed you because I can't see you putting stories of this guy all over your Instagram. This guy's like an abusive, manipulative, horrible person. I don't understand. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she like doesn't respond. I'm like, okay, well, whatever.
I saw Memetics at a grocery store in Sweden yesterday. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person, but I didn't want to be a douche and bother him and ask for photos or anything. He said, oh, like you're doing now? I was taken aback. All I could say was, huh? He kept cutting me off and going, huh, and closing his hand in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping, so I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him trying to walk out the door with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands without paying. The girl at the counter was very nice and professional, and was like, sir, what, you need to pay for those first. At first, he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and brought them to the counter. When she took one of the bars and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan them each individually, to prevent any electronic interference. He then turned around and winked at me. I don't even think that's a word. After she scanned each bar and put them in a bag, and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning really loudly.
I'm trying to talk to mutual friends at the time because I'm starting to get like a better picture of what's happening. But obviously everybody's saying like, oh no, this isn't really Melina. Tim's just mind fucking her. It's not really her, blah, blah, blah. And then, thank God, I call our therapist, the one that we've done our couples counseling with. I call our therapist and I tell her, I'm like, hey, we need to set up like a therapy thing. Okay. It's got to be like 5 hours, okay? Because when Melina comes back to the United States, I need to figure out like where she's at on all of this, because if she's not where I want her to be, I'm divorcing her. She's not going back to Sweden and married to me, because this is fucking retarded. I don't trust this guy. I don't know if she's going to do like weird shit with my money, and also like I have no desire to be in a relationship. Like this is way too wild at this point. After I contact the guy, I tell her that, I start putting together like a document of like all the weird shit that I've seen this guy do, and then I'm trying to figure out like how to address this. And then I have a conversation with two very close friends. One,
Bro's putting together a document, bro.
Incredibly close friends. This is like one of the coolest people I know.
Who does this?
Me and her have a conversation, I think, for like 3 or 4 hours. And in the course of this conversation, as I reflect on everything that's happened, I start to realize like, okay, there's a lot of things in my relationship that are really fucked up, that are 100% on Melina, that she's made no effort to fix. So even though I'd made this kind of like document for therapy that was like fixated on Tim, I started to like open up and look at more problems, and I'm like, this guy's actually not the problem. As much as
this is the therapist document. This is a therapist document. I suppose if you're going through a lot in your life, maybe it's not too bad of an idea, to be honest, to write down. It's really just writing down your thoughts. He's saying document. I don't think it's too unreasonable to just write down your thoughts for a therapy session if you're going in for a big life event therapy session. I think that's fine. But he's just phrasing it like a fucking autist.
It's like all of this shit. And he was just like a really good lens to view it through. There's no personal shit, doesn't matter. Push it sideways a little bit. Push it sideways. We're getting to the point to where I think Mel is going to come back to
he just wants to, once again, it's just his ego speaking, where he wants to make himself sound like this, fucking light Yagami character that writes out manifestos and everyone, and, it's more of the presentation.
Yeah. Mel is going to come back to the United States. I've got our appointment with Stacy scheduled. I think I even said this on stream. I said, I'm like, oh, I'll know everything by some date. And I think our goal is to come back and we're going to see like where we're at on everything, like what we're negotiating or like what is happening with our relationship. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're having like pretty intense conversations on Discord. I don't know what the fuck is going on. She's talking to me like very cold and diplomatically. And the impression that I have in my mind is that like I was right originally when she flew back to Sweden. I'm pretty sure she's gone. I think she's like moved on. She wants to be with this Tim dude. And the impression that I get, this, I was feeling this at the time. Fuck, so many people might fuck me out of this, but I still held on to my gut. Thank God for a couple of really important reasons, which you will see coming soon. Okay. My gut feeling was she's basically done with this. She's found like a new dude that gives her the whatever. I can say things, but obviously something that she might click with better in a relationship. And I'm pretty sure she's done with it. I think she's trying to find a way to like get out of this relationship without me like saying mean things about her publicly, or by making it seem like it's my fault, or something.
I wonder why she'd want to do that. I wonder why she'd be so concerned about that. I can't possibly fucking imagine.
Something like that. I think she wants me to basically be the one to pull the trigger for whatever reason. Because you're at 39, thanks for the gifted subs. And I'm like, okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Boom, boom. We're getting to the end here, thank God. She comes back. We used to trying to do, I think she's trying to do damage control and everything. That's my feeling. But she comes back to the US. She lands. My goal is we're just going to be chill. We're going to have like 2 decent days together where we just like hang out, see how we feel about each other. And then we'll go to therapy and we'll figure stuff out, you know? I remember that she lands at the airport and she comes out and she's wearing this disgusting, gaudy, massive fucking hoodie that says meme ticks on it. And I'm like, my mind is like so unbelievably like fucked right now. Because in my mind, Melina's one of the most sensitive motherfuckers in the world. If we're driving around and there's like a new song on my playlist, Melina's asking like, which girl gave you this song? Like literally, like that's where she's at. And so she shows up in this hoodie. I'm like, this is the fuck.
Yeah, it seems like she's moved on.
I pick her up from the airport. I'm not talking to her at all. This is retarded. We come home. I drop her off. Or no, I don't drop her off. I think I either stream or I'm just like on my computer. She's calling and telling all of her friends like, oh, well, Steve Bigger, he's been super cold to me. He didn't give me a hug or say anything. I'm like, yeah, of course not. You're fucking weird. I think I just try not to talk. We don't interact much, I think, for the next day or two. I think you guys might see us interact on stream once. I think she walks by and we like joke a little bit.
Didn't seem like you were joking. It seemed like you were quite tense.
And then we go to do the Stacy stuff. Before talking to Stacy, I tell Melina a couple things. One, I say, before we do this, I want all of the money that I gave you for the taxes back right now, because I don't trust Tim to not tell you to take it from me in the future. Fuck this. And
this whole thing boils down to, guys, you won't believe how terrible the guy my wife left me for is. I don't. What is the other interpretation here? I'm honestly not sure.
2, I need you to pay me back rent at least on this apartment, okay? Because if you're gonna move in people and you're gonna start buying shit for these broke fucks, you need to, I'm not gonna pay for rent here for you while you're covering the expense of another person. Feels like I'm basically subsidizing their life. That's not happening. So before therapy, thank God, we walk to the bank. I think it's about 115,000. She transfers it all to me, cash from one account to the next. I'm like, okay, cool. Get my money back. Feel good about that at least. Then from there we go to therapy. We do our 5 hours of therapy. It goes about as I expected to. I won't get into all of that. It goes about as I expected to. And then coming out of therapy, I feel really good because I feel like I can walk away from this relationship. I feel like I can do way better than this. I can find a partner that wants to build something better with me. Like, this is stupid. I don't need to be involved in this bullshit. Oh, and then also at this point, Melina agreed to sign that postnuptial agreement in emails, because I'm thinking like, I'm still talking to the therapist one-on-one because I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't know if Melina is like getting mind fucked by this Tim dude. And I don't know if she's getting mind fucked by this Tim dude and there's still like some version of Melina that loves me, but it's like really confused and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, here's what we can do. Maybe we can do like, because she was like, well, what if we just like go on a break? And I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe we can do a break for 6 months, but you're signing a post-nup because I'm not risking my assets on this guy. Sorry, I don't trust him. And I really don't even trust you right now because you've lied to me about almost this entire thing that you've done with him. And she's like, that's okay. I agree. We'll send the post-nup. We take care of like all that shit.
Well, it seems like, yeah, then she wasn't really trying to get anything out of you, was she?
She's here. I think over the next 2 days, we have a couple conversations with mutual friends. I start to feel better about things.
If she's just trying to leave the relationship, then ultimately you've got to just kind of accept that, right?
Because now I have like mutual friends that are observing our conversations where I feel like it's pretty obvious that Melina is super unreasonable. This is all personal shit. It doesn't need to be said. Yeah. We get to her almost leaving. I think it's like the day that the night she was going to leave. We're about to take off. She's like super upset. And then I'm trying to figure out at the end of the day, like, what's going on or why you're upset. Like, you know, I think we're...
Okay, look. Be fair, I don't think the post-nup was under duress, okay? Destiny was specifically talking about the divorce papers, right? That was what we were talking about with the shit's going to get catastrophic. Say something funny. Optimistics was during that comment. No, the shit is going to get catastrophic comment was about the divorce papers. What you just spoke about there was the post-nup, and you said just listen, you need to sign a post-nup because I'm not risking my assets if you leave me for this guy.
I feel like it's pretty obvious that Melina is super unreasonable. It's all personal shit. It doesn't need to be said. We get to her almost leaving. I think it's like the day that I think the night she was going to leave. We're about to take off. She's like super upset. And then I'm trying to figure out at the end of the day, like, what's going on or why you're upset. Like, you know, I think we're, you know, we know what we're doing at least, right? And she's like, I don't want to tell you. It's embarrassing. I'm like, what do you mean it's embarrassing? What's going on? And basically I find out that over the last 8 hours, I guess like Tim was cheating on her, okay, with some random girl that he brought to her apartment, said he loved her, blah, blah, blah. And Melina's obviously like super upset about this. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, I thought this would take at least a few more months, but whatever. That pushes sideways. No, that happens that night. The next day.
Wait, so why is he leaking that this guy cheated on Melina? What justification is there for him to leak that? Exactly? Just saying, oh, this guy did a bad thing. Like, why? Bro, I hate this just leaking, like, details of people's sexual relationships that you know in private, just for the sake of attacking someone publicly in front of your audience.
She's being a lot more warm to the boundaries and suggestions that I made. I think we sleep together.
I'm starting to appreciate, I think Michael Walsh has actually been a defender of Destiny in my chat before. And is now seeming to turn. That's I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Anikalupo. Why not? It's his business. No, it's not. It's not his business whether Murtix cheated on Melina. That's not his business. Especially if they're already breaking up. There's no reason for him to be leaking this. There's no justification.
Night, no sex, just like cuddly. We're more warm towards each other. It seems like she wants to talk to me and entertain some of my boundaries more. And then I think I
think because Tim called him an abuser. Yeah, but then the justification would be to dispel that claim. Right? If you'll push back on that claim, then yeah.
Next day, she was supposed to I don't know if she was flying out to New York the next morning or not. I think she already was, or she might not have been. But the next day, you don't
even need to give specifics. You can say, "Oh, Murtix did something really bad to betray Melina's trust, so she was cozy with me again." You can say that, but he's not. He's giving specific details about the sexual interactions they had.
Comes up to me, and she's like, because during therapy, I'd made like a list of like, here's like the boundaries that I need. If we're gonna do like open relationship and all this shit going forward, this is what I need to happen, or else we're just done because I'm not wasting my time with anything else. And also like these boundaries are like bare minimum just to even start a relationship. This isn't even to have a good relationship. This is just like bare minimum shit. And if you're not willing to do these, like, I'm walking. This is stupid. She's more open to my boundaries, and then she talks to me and she's like,
again, I literally just addressed that.
Here's like, these are the things that I want from you in a relationship. And when she starts talking to me about these things, they just sound like the dumbest things in the world. Like, I don't understand what's going on. So like, for instance, like one of the things she'll say is like, I need somebody who doesn't judge me for not working as much. And I'm like, I've never judged you for that, except for like the only time I've said this is the last 2 months. I got worried because it seems like she was like quitting a lot of her stuff and just spending all of her time, you know, staying up till 5 a.m., like being lazy and having her life be destroyed. Like, it's only been the last 2 months, but like it's a ton of stuff that I've complained about for the last 2 months that she's pretending is happening like the entire relationship. And then she hits one thing where she's like, I need somebody who is willing to give me like a lot of freedom and stuff. And I'm like, what? Tim gets motion sickness so bad he can't even get in Ubers. He can't even get in cars. Like, Melina likes, you know, like sex, drugs, and travel. Tim doesn't do drugs. He doesn't fly in airplanes or get in cars because he gets motion sick. And he's definitely not open or polyamorous. So what the fuck is even happening? Why would you tell me that you need more freedom? Like, I've literally let you have a second husband. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand that. And she's like, well, I don't know. And then I bring up like you can't even hang out with that one girl without, you know, without him letting you. And then she's like, well, you know, it's fit. I can understand why he doesn't.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear she just wants to be away from him at the moment. That's all I'm getting from this.
Want me.
The max recommended dose of Vyvanse is 70 milligrams, I believe. Diane Perry.
Hang out with that person. And I'm like, what do you mean you can understand why? I don't.
This is really just from the enjoyment I got from the lab days. Thank you.
Like, what's the possible reason? And then Melina's like, because you were talking to her about Tim. And then two huge things go off in my mind. So the first, and I hate it, Melina has lied to me so much over this thing, and she's so bad at lying, okay? Which is a little endearing, because I don't think she lies much. Or at least not.
Nick Bergin super chatted $5. This is really just for the enjoyment I got from the lab days.
Thank you. 60 is a massive dose, by the way. It took 6 months to titrate up to it. Yeah, I mean, I've tried having this argument with people in chat already, but there's a bunch of fucking stem heads in chat that sit there and act like, oh, well, 60's a therapeutic dose. 60's a therapeutic dose. It's like, yeah, but not when you've just tried it off of a friend for a week and then gone and doctor shopped, or sort of doctor shopped in a colloquial sense to get the dose that you want.
In these like more convoluted or complicated situations. So the first issue is that like, I talked to this other girl like 2 weeks ago. That doesn't explain why he doesn't let you hang out with her for the past 2 months. So one, you're lying. Number one. And number two, how does he...
I agreed with MrGirl for the most part. There's some stuff he was retarded about, like the Reddit stuff he was kind of spazzing about, but there is a kind of an argument there about the way Destiny uses community. But MrGirl generally. The thing is with MrGirl is that moral frogging about things that are sort of intrinsic to content creation is never going to play well. People don't want to be told that the content they're consuming that they enjoy may somehow be unethical to produce. People don't want to be told that. And the reality is that Destiny's content that he was doing at the time, where he was bringing on people he had sexual relationships with to berate them, a lot of that did kind of necessitate a level of abuse, right? But people don't want to be told that. I don't even care necessarily that it's happening. Because, you know, I'm the same. I like content above all else. I don't care if these people suffer, okay? But I can still acknowledge the fact that obviously Destiny's being an abusive guy in a lot of these situations.
Know that I was talking to this person. And then, you know, she does like the trickle truth. She's like, well, you know, obviously they're friends, so they're going to talk. And I'm like, no, because that friend was the one saying that we should delete the DMs because they didn't want to make it dramatic. And I was like, well, yeah, but like I'm friends with all them, so I told them to talk. And I'm like, do you mean that you told him everything that I said to that person? And she's like, well, yeah. And then at this point, I'm like, you're doing more damage control for this guy. You're doing more you can to build him up to your friends. And he knows more about our relationship than I know about you. And then I got, at that point, I'm like, I'm unhinged. I fully admit I am ultra unhinged now. I tell her that, I tell her she needs to pack all of her shit and get the fuck out. I'm leaving for 2 days. If I come back and she's still here, I'm gonna like word both. I say a lot of shit. Okay, yeah, I'm unhinged. I fully admit I'm super unhinged.
Why don't you tell us exactly what you said in that conversation, Destiny? Why is he skirting over it? Because this is the part where he kind of admitted to making us sign the papers under duress. When you said that stuff the other day, when he said shit's gonna get catastrophic, this is the conversation he was talking about that he's describing now. It's the same conversation. Why aren't you telling us exactly what you said in that conversation, Destiny? Why did you say the other day shit's gonna get catastrophic, and now you're saying, listen, I'm unhinged, okay? I'll admit I'm unhinged, yeah, but you're not acknowledging a specific thing you said that was wrong.
I hope she has a recording of it, okay? If she wants to leak it, knock yourself out. I'm super fucking unhinged. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, you absolutely need to be the fuck out of this apartment with all of your shit, because whatever you don't have packed, I'm throwing the fuck away, okay? I'm setting it on fire, just let you know. She gets a little moody. I think she eventually goes to bed. I come to my computer. I'm like, don't talk to me the rest of the night.
Structure property is
to LA, and I don't
just schizo, obviously.
That night, I think I also DM her a quick thing. Because another friend was telling me, remember, all these other friends keep telling me like, well, no, Melina's reasonable. You just need to talk to her better, blah, blah, blah. And then I think that I messaged Melina. I was like checking on something, and I was like, because this other friend was like, oh, well, like, for instance, Melina said that she just wanted to try like a 6-month break for you guys to get your head on straight. And I'm like, okay, all right. Also, pay attention, because I think the details in the next like 2 weeks are kind of important, so you can kind of understand why I was like going back and forth on things so much. So I messaged Melina, and I'm like, hey, so just curious, you said we were going to go on a break. Are you going to restrict yourself like romantic and sexually from this other guy that you said that you also needed a break from? And she was like, I understand why you think that, but no, I don't think I can do that right now. And I'm like, okay, I understand. So when you say a 6-month break, what you really want is you want to go try a relationship with him, and then if that doesn't work, then you want to come crawling back to me. That's not happening. We don't do that shit, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Pull up on Discord. Surely you can explain exactly why my takes are bad on a voice chat if you're so fucking confident. Luke Swanson in YouTube chat. You're being summoned to Discord, and if not, I will remove you from chat. I'm not seeing anything in the join log. We're going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, you have a retarded 17-year-old opinion. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
You fucked way too much of this up, and he's fucked way too much of this up for that to ever be a consideration. Why ask her that? Just curious, because it's really good to get a lot of things in writing, because one thing that Melina will do is if I don't explicitly ask something, she'll lie about what she would have said later, even though I know what her answer was. So for instance, Melina has said to a lot of mutual friends and to me that if I would have told Melina that she shouldn't go back to Sweden when she left Miami after TwitchCon, that she would have stayed here, that's a fucking lie. But I didn't explicitly ask her that. But she'll say like retroactively, like, oh no, I would have said it, but she'll do that shit. So we have a conversation that's probably like 2 pages, I think. And I admit I am fully unhinged. I've already referenced this conversation. I'm super unhinged. I'm like calling her a selfish fucking cunt. I think I said this guy, I hope you guys kill yourselves, blah, blah, blah. I'm like unhinged. She's answering everything perfectly, like very diplomatically, very kind of like lukewarmly, you know, like, oh, I love you, like denying that she's done things that she's already admitted she's done, all of this. I later realized that it's because she's going to use these logs to send to all of our mutual friends to show that I am actually the super unhinged one and that she was the one trying everything the whole time, which they might actually believe because I've never shit-talked Melina prior to this whole episode, and she's obviously dumping me the whole time, right? Well,
surely if she was just doing it in that conversation to bait you, to make you look bad, then surely you'd be able to show the other conversations where she was being completely unhinged. Surely you'd be able to show those, right? Because if she had a continuous pattern of being completely unhinged in these kinds of conversations, surely you can show those, and you can show, no, there was a pattern of behavior here. She was clearly, you know, she was clearly just acting that way to try and make me look bad. But it's also possible that she was just kind of emotionally disengaged from it, and you were freaking the fuck out at her. Or she just was trying to settle the situation. It could also be that way, you know. We don't even get to see these logs.
Well, my unhinged messages at the end. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really want like I said, I don't really want like all this shit. But like, I think I can just read you some to get an idea of like how.
Tell us what you said, Destiny.
Let's see. Here's like an example of some of the things I'm saying. Keep lying and keep coping. Misquote every single thing I've ever said. It's fine. I'm sure you've rehearsed this story over and over again with all of your liar fuck friends you've been crying to farm sympathy. And then in quote, I had no idea I had to tell you that I moved someone into the apartment. I didn't know I needed to tell you if I'm replacing you with another husband. Honestly. Then I say, it is such an unbelievable cope. I can't believe you're this fucking stupid, which is even sadder because it means you're just a selfish, evil, fucking manipulative fuck like so many other people are in my life. And then her response to all of these are like, they're so good. They're perfect. Okay. These are super good manipulative responses. She says, I'm sorry if I hurt you. If I could have changed things, I would have. And I wish you could trust me. I don't regret anything I've ever done with you or any of the time we've had together. Blah. It's like all of her responses are like this. They're so good. They're perfect to like make me look unhinged. After like, she gives like a whole paragraph response of like all of this. And then my response to this, like, nothing is okay. You're disgusting to me.
I'm sorry that it ended up this way. I enjoyed the relationship. I'm sad that it's ending. What? What was the manipulation there?
I just want you to leave my fucking apartment without destroying my shit. Please stop with these cringe fucking Hallmark works or words. I don't care what your cringe and stupid fuck friends are telling you. Hopefully one day when you grow the fuck up, you'll realize how little words mean if you don't actually fucking do it.
Yeah, like, was she supposed to make it worse? What did he want to happen here?
Anything with them. Like, these are like my messages. I'm unhinged, okay? Fully admit that. Yeah, fully admit that I'm super unhinged to these messages, okay? So if she ever leaks them to make me look bad, just know, okay? If you're a streamer, okay? That's why I'm unhinged here. Yeah. Somebody said that's not that bad.
Like, seriously, I don't understand what he wanted her to do.
You fucking lying cunt lympheo. You've cheated the entire time with this particular person. You know it. Maybe if you grow a spine one day and get a friend who isn't a simp, they'll tell you. She says, well, I paid rent too. I paid rent to stay, and I offered that you could go elsewhere. And I said, you paid 10 months of rent because I knew you were fucking gone after last month. You're gone as fuck. You were a month ago when you pathetically crawled back to this abusive loser. Also,
if you're planning to send the convo to friends, it is manipulative. First of all, not necessarily, and also you don't know that she was planning to send it, and he doesn't know that she was planning to send it.
Oh, I love your lying.
Unless he's got evidence. Unless he's got evidence of saying, "Oh yeah, I was planning to send it."
Asked not to go back. I wouldn't have, but now you couldn't even not go.
But we've not got evidence of anything so far.
Break. I wonder how long you can get away with being just pretty and getting everyone to suck up to you. It's actually fucking insane how delusional you are. Again.
Yeah, this 25-year-old girl with a galaxy brain forced Destiny Jedi mind tricked her into calling her a massive cunt, or whatever the fuck he said. Mr. Bones MD, I appreciate that. If you want to disagree with anything, you're always welcome to join the Discord and come talk to me. We can have a chill conversation, or we can scream at each other. It's really up to you.
I'm unhinged. Yeah, Jesus. What's sad is that you won't get the fuck out of my apartment tonight, and you're wasting my fucking air by staying here. Yeah, I'm unhinged. I fully admit it. I am. These are unhinged DMs, okay? And her responses are really good, yeah. But anyway, that happens. I fly out, and then...
No one's pole clutching over saying the cunt thing. I'm just saying that it's retarded to act like he was manipulated into doing it.
I think I do... What's the first thing I do in LA? It's not Jubilee, it's something else. What's the first thing I do? Oh, I do the whatever show. I do that debate, drive back, hang out with people the next day. I do Jubilee. Over the course of Jubilee, okay, this stuff is a little important, okay? Oh, also, that night when I was on Hinge No DMs, that's when I started typing shit in DGG chat, because I'm like, fuck all this, okay? Fuck these people, okay? I'm really paranoid that she's going to say something publicly. I don't know how many people she's talking to. I hear her on the phone talking to and crying to everybody, like farming sympathy.
But she hasn't said anything publicly. It's only... I'm so paranoid about this thing happening that I'm doing right now. What?
And I'm really paranoid that she's like telling a whole bunch of people that I'm a horrible abuser. And so I get a DG chat. I'm like, start typing like that, okay? After Jubilee, okay, after I've had like 2 or 3 days, okay, this is like a blessing and a curse for me, okay? I usually forgive and I move past stuff.
Honestly, I barely covered the... Oh, I didn't cover it at all because I wasn't streaming at the time. I barely followed the depth we heard stuff. I really honestly don't know many of the details. I just heard the fucking meme shit that came out about like the dog shitting on the bed or whatever.
I chill. My mental baseline is like...
It sounded like the core disagreement in that though was that Amber Heard portrayed it as though Johnny Depp was purely abusive, whereas it was actually a two-way toxic relationship. That was a core disagreement, right?
Very high, and as long as I can sleep for a few days, I'm usually pretty chill a couple of days later.
But that was because she made a public statement
over a lot of this stuff. At least as far as like me leaking public stuff. So at this point, I think Melina's removed me and blocked me from everything, which is fine because I think
Listen, Addy Pupils, I like him. He says some funny stuff, but listen, this guy fucking hates Destiny. Okay.
He's getting a lot of hate on social media. And then I passed a message along via a mutual friend. And basically it's like a long message saying like, hey, listen, it probably wasn't right for me to leak anything publicly. You've just been hurtful to me because of these actions. I feel like this hasn't been fair. But I understand if, you think that I've been unfair. If you want to reconnect at some point, I'm not going to like spam your DMs or whatever, but but whenever that happens in a month or two, maybe we talk again. Good luck. Sorry that I blew everything up publicly. I'll remove any hate threads so that your shit isn't getting spammed, okay? So I say all that. Because I'm feeling like, okay, I gotta calm the fuck down. And I don't want this to like blow up into like weeks worth of dumb drama. After I do that, after I ship that message, I start getting DMs from, I think, 3 to 4 mutual friends saying that Melina has called these friends and said that everything that leaked from the DMs in my chat, all of those things were lies, and that I was actually the super abusive person. I'm starting to see this, and I'm starting to get fucking irritated.
Well, there were lies in there. No, well, misrepresentations at least. The suicide threat is it seemed like, I mean, we went over this the other day. It's like, it's difficult to really say, but a lot of people came away with the impression, it's me as well, I'll say this, a lot of people came away with the impression that Destiny was complaining that he was paying for an apartment that Memetics was in, but that wasn't actually the case, and he didn't actually quite say that. He said he felt like he was subsidizing it by paying for her. Obviously now they disagree with the idea that he was living there, he just had a key. Right, and Memetics is claiming he pays his own rent, so it's difficult. With Melina probably did feel like he was lying, so I don't think it's necessarily wrong when he's gone and said to shit publicly for her to reach out to people close to her that may have seen it. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, Memetics said he spends a lot of time there, but has his own place that he pays rent for. Yeah. Thank you for the $4.99, Matthew Morton.
When I see this, and I'm like, okay, well, this is really fucking annoying that she's now saying I'm lying about shit that's so obviously not a lie. And then when I see those DMs, now I'm flying back home, and I think I get back on December 11th. I think I shoot a text to our therapist. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm just curious if you want to have like a final chat just with me, because I think I'm about to go fucking nuclear and just talk about the last 4 months of my life with my wife. Okay, we need to have a chat.
But what is the justification here? I don't understand why is he going to go nuclear? What is the reason? What justification does he have for going a bunch of public shit? Putting out a bunch of public shit.
Matthew Morton super chatted $4.99. Destiny, she blocked me on everything, but I still got burner account Sponel.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you.
I have a chat with our therapist. It lasts about 3 hours. And basically in my mind, what I'm trying to figure out is, like, is Melina right now just like kind of confused and getting mindfucked by this other weird dude, but there's like some part of her that like still loves me and wants to work in a relationship in the future, blah, blah, blah. Or is Melina actually like a super selfish piece of shit? And is Melina like the best, coolest person in the world as long as your interests are aligned, but as soon as they become disaligned, she becomes like a toxic, manipulative, abusive piece of shit. And I don't know which one of these is true right now. And if Melina is actually like kind of chill and she's just like in a mindfucking mood, I need to chill and not like permanently destroy any type of chance for reconnecting in the future. If she is the other evil thing, then fuck it. I just want to say my piece and move the fuck on, because I don't want to make myself like emotionally reserved for her for months and months for no fucking reason, right? So I have that conversation with the therapist. This is probably a good 3-hour chat. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, maybe Melina's just on some confusion shit, whatever. All throughout this time, she's always told me, like, oh, like, I think we can still work on stuff. We just need a break. We can come back and reconnect, and I'll figure out where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck it. And I think this is where on my stream, I think after this, I do the cuckafesto, where I basically cuck out. I come out, and I'm like, I shouldn't have leaked anything. I'm not going to say anything. I know I teased you guys. I'm not going to blah, 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 blah.
No shit, you shouldn't have leaked anything, so why do you continue doing it?
And I kind of like say I shouldn't have leaked anything publicly, basically. And she, and that's what I say. And that was when, what was this, December 12th or was this December 11th? I think this might have been December. I think it might have been December 11th.
Right, it's so crazy.
And I say that, I chill, and then after that, I'm just like, calm down. I figure Melina can do her shit. She signed post-nuptial agreement, so my assets are safe. And I'll just like stream. I have access to my apartment again. We're either on break or she's like never coming back, but that's fine. At least like if I find like another chick that I really like, I'm gonna start having more serious conversations, maybe, blah, blah, blah. But I'm basically just gonna like move as though I'm single for the next few months, and we'll see what she does in the future. I don't know. I'm not gonna like make that, commitment. But I'm not gonna like super like burn the bridge down and like completely go nuclear. And you know, if there is any part of her that like might still love me or want to work in the future, I don't like nuke that right now out of respect for any of that, right? So that's why I do the Cuck stream. I have my birthday. I do a couple.
Oh, how is it you can sit here and watch this? Dude, listen. It's getting reinforced. You don't understand. I thought it's. I can watch anything on stream, pretty much. Okay. Because you're getting constant, positive, like reinforcement for doing it. It's like reward systems in games almost. That get you fucking addicted. Okay, that is literally how it. That is the closest thing I can compare it to here.
I do a couple streams. And then I think on the 14th or 15th, somebody shares with me. Oh, this is like a 6 days ago, I think. On the 14th or 15th, somebody shares with me. Oh no, I think this was on the 13th. Messages that Melina had typed to this person. This was after I did my Cuck stream. And basically, to summarize, Melina's basically saying,
Destiny content is actually CSGO loot boxes.
Steven's lying about everything. He's nuking me publicly for
We're
absolutely
getting a knife
no reason.
right now. We're getting karambit.
Everywhere. I don't ever want to interact with them ever again. I've never felt so horrible at a person. As more
Butterfly
time passes,
knife.
the more
Let's
angry
go.
I get. I don't know if I should go public and correct all the lies he said.
Factoring
I'm
you.
not even sure what to do. I've just stayed silent. I hate how people gave him credit for his stream yesterday. He didn't even do anything good. He didn't take anything back. He just stated that he wanted to nuke me and then talk with Stacy, convince him not to, even though I
Wait, so who is this to?
Person. On the 14th or 15th, somebody shares with me. Oh no, I think this was on the 13th.
So this is private statements.
Messages that Melina had typed to this person. This was after I did my Cuck stream.
Okay.
And basically, to summarize, Melina's basically saying...
Mel should go public at this point, yeah, 100%.
Steven's lying about everything. He's nuking me publicly for absolutely no reason. I blocked him everywhere. I don't ever want to interact with him ever again. I've never felt so horrible at a person.
Sounds so reasonable.
The more time passes, the more angry I get. I don't know if I should go public and
Oh shit. What?
correct all the lies he said. I'm not even sure what to do. I've just stayed silent. I hate how people gave him credit for his stream yesterday. He didn't even do anything good. He didn't take anything back.
Yeah, true.
He just stated that he wanted to nuke me and then talk with Stacy, convince him not to, even though I stayed
Yep.
silent and I signed the post up
Yep.
and paid everything back I owed him.
Yep.
I'm scared of him as a human being. I never thought
Fair.
he'd be as insane as he is.
Okay.
I haven't even figured out how I feel about mutual friends yet. Like all of this, yeah.
I don't see the... It's Mel time. It's Mel time, guys. It's fucking Mel time. I don't understand. Where was she wrong? Where was the lie?
So
I think that's a reasonable response to the way he's been acting. Yeah, most women would feel like that if you did that to them. Yes.
I understand what people mean now. I'm pretty sure that he knows. I just don't even think he cares.
True.
He told Tim to go kill himself, and that it's okay for his community to harass him yesterday. He's just handled this all in the worst way possible. I'm getting so much shit.
What's the point? I don't understand what the point is supposed to be here. This makes him look terrible. Sounds fucking scared. Everything she's saying is right. This is how every woman would respond in this situation. I don't get it. I don't get it. Please, there's got to be a DGGS somewhere. There's got to be a DGGS somewhere that can explain to me what the fuck I meant to. What is the argument here? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah. So after I see this, I'm like, fuck this cunt. I call a few divorce lawyers to figure out like what is my exposure to an alimony fight. I made a lot of money this year. What's going on? You know, I contact 3 different lawyers.
I can't defend
Florida
this as
has,
Nick
like,
Virgin.
Short-term marriage laws are not very favorable for alimony. We have no joint assets. We have no children. Her career hasn't been negatively impacted at all. She's made money the whole time. For a whole litany of reasons. If she wanted to fight, it would be a long fight, and she would probably get nothing. Just because
I'm a Quigger. Quiggers in chat, guys. Quiggers in chat.
There's not like a strong or compelling case to be made for alimony in this case. So I'm like, okay, cool. If she wanted to, I send a mutual communication. I shoot divorce papers to her, and I'm like, hey, fuck this. Sign this. I'm done. We're done. Okay, I'm just whatever. I don't even tell her why. I just shoot the divorce papers over to her via an assistant, and I say, sign these, get them notarized, and we're done.
Well, the other day, that's not quite what you said. You said, sign these, or if shit's going to get catastrophic. I want to see these conversations, man.
She doesn't contest anything. She doesn't fight anything. She just whatever. We still haven't even talked to each other since she left, remember, because she blocked me. So we haven't even talked to each other for, I think, like, what, 10 days? She gets the divorce papers. She signs everything instantly. And then the divorce papers are filed. The Florida court accepts. And then, boom. Okay, we're done. The next day, I get a message from a mutual saying, hey, Melina really wants to chat with you. She got another message this morning relating to her apartment and everything in Sweden. And now she is like, wants to chat. Also, Melina never really wanted to get a divorce. She just thought that you were upset. She's really sorry that she didn't reach out, blah, 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 blah. And then what I realized what happened was the Florida courts accepted the paperwork and everything the day before Melina got a notice relating to her apartment. And now she wants to DM and say that like she didn't want to do the divorce and blah, 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 blah. Even though she signed the papers as soon as she got them. So now at this point, okay, the quantum waveforms have collapsed.
So this is about the apartment that she had in Sweden that was rent controlled, that she got from her grandma, that she's losing because she was out of the country for too long. Have I got this right? Do we actually know this for sure? Because I saw this in a Reddit comment. So I'm not convinced of it. But it's what I've seen thrown around. Is that that's what the 100k was about. Was it Melina asked Destiny for 100k because of the situation of their relationship, she was losing this apartment. But Destiny conveniently left that out when he was discussing the fact she asked for 100k.
And I see through and I understand everything that's going on. I totally get it. This was a few days ago, right? And I think I mentioned as much. Me and Melina get in a call. She basically tries to gaslight me for 35 minutes. Just unbelievable lies. And it's like funny as fuck. And I'm like, yeah. And then
the 100k was over text. No, because he would have said that. Because the thing is that there was the tax money that he had to pay that he then refunded. And then there was another situation a few weeks later where Melina asked him for 100k, and that's what justified the stream the other day, was her asking him for 100k. But he never said the reason for that 100k. He never gave the reason during that stream, I believe. I feel like he would have just said she asked for the tax money, right? I could be wrong. This is me just trying to interpret his statements, but my understanding was that the 100k was a different situation to the tax money.
You know, like, I can't believe you're doing the moral thing. Like, you owe me this because I had to pay so much money to move out of the U.S. and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically that. I guess for context on that message, the funny thing is when our convo first started, she basically said, I'm just trying to figure out where you're at. I'm like, what do you mean where I'm at? And she's like, well, you sent me a message 2 weeks ago. Remember the really nice one that I sent? And she's like, I'm trying to figure out like how much you feel like that still. And I'm like, I feel like the message I sent you 1 hour ago.
What was that? Sorry, I was
the
reading
really nice one that I could move out of the US and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically that. Now at this point, okay, the quantum waveforms have collapsed and I see through and I understand everything that's going on. I totally get it. This was a few days ago, right? And I think I mentioned as much. Me and Melina get in a call. She basically tries to gaslight me for 35 minutes. Just unbelievable lies. And it's like funny as fuck. And I'm like, yeah. And then we, you know,
really funny, guys. It's really funny.
Thing. Like, you owe me this because I had to pay so much money to move out of the US and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, basically that. I guess for context on that message, the funny thing is when our convo first started,
I mean, I just kind of hope that she does take it to court, to be honest, because that'll really decide, you know, what our arguments are for, how strong our arguments are for being owed some amount of money, some amount of recompense. You know, given she's given up on the post-up agreement, I don't feel like it's like too insane to ask for like something. I don't know. She's immediately conceded that. I don't feel like it's that crazy to ask for like just something to help you on as you separate. But we'll see if she challenges it in divorce court.
She basically said, I'm just trying to figure out where you're at. And I'm like, what do you mean where I'm at? And she's like, well, you sent me a message 2 weeks ago. Remember the really nice one that I sent? And she's like, I'm trying to figure out like how much you feel like that still. And I'm like, I feel like the message I sent you 1 hour ago. Yeah, the message I sent her 1 hour ago was really harsh. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's boom. That's all that. There we go. That's all my bullshit. I think that's basically all I would ever have to say on most of this, without getting into a whole bunch of other random personal shit. Tim did an interview with Henry Resilient saying that I was putting out a whole bunch of false claims and that none of what I said was true. In my opinion, not in my opinion, if I put out a claim and somebody says that, if I put out a claim and you know, nobody wants to contradict it, then I'm pretty sure my claim is true. If I put out a claim and somebody wants to fight against that claim and they say, well, that's not true.
No, you should have evidence.
Then okay, then I guess we'll, you know, I guess go for evidence. I unfortunately don't have access to Melina and Tim's cell phones, so I can't prove that those texts were sent. However,
but it's not about proving the text was sent. He already admitted to Tim's point of disagreement, which was that it wasn't a threat. He already admitted to that, right?
Melina has talked to so many people about this, but unfortunately, I think she's lied to Tim about who she's talked to. So, for instance, Melina was really irritated when I was reaching out to mutual friends.
TC Brady, this... Okay, almost. He's talking about Tim, because Tim went dramatic a month ago and stuff. It's been a little dramatic since, but it's improving all the time. I don't find it abusive. I think Steve has made me feel 100 times worse by his actions, so it feels weird that he has so many opinions right now. Tim had a breakdown a month ago where he gave me an ultimatum. Oh, she is describing it as ultimatum here, okay. I didn't take the option he wanted me to. He had a breakdown. Okay, so now... Alright, but now that casts a bit of doubt. I didn't take the option. He had a breakdown. So what was the ultimatum? Oh, right, okay. Right, I'm seeing what's going on here as I read the sentence more. Let's try... Okay, right. So what's going on here is... He has a breakdown. He gives an ultimatum. I don't know what the ultimatum would be. I guess it's... You've got... Usually an ultimatum means you either do this or this. But I think all that's happening here is that he's saying, listen, I need you to break up with Destiny. So I guess maybe I'm interpreting that wrong. He didn't take the option he wanted to. He had a breakdown where he said he was suicidal. Okay, yeah, so this is not describing it as a threat. But it is emotionally manipulative. I'll say that. It's putting a lot of emotional weight on the situation. But there's enough plausible deniability to where you also can't rule out the fact that he could be talking genuinely. But either way, it's irresponsible to do. I'm not defending the action anyway. It's just it's not a threat. After that, he tried to beg me to come over. I said no. He didn't really respect it and kept pushing. After that, he chilled out. When I was at TwitchCon, he went off on me saying that poly was bad for kids. He took it back when I said he was acting manipulative. Later that week, he invited a girl over that I really wanted to see. It seemed like he only did that to get a reaction out of me. He apologized for it later. Well, it was fine. I also found out he spoke bad stuff about me behind my back to a close friend of mine, felt a bit controlling. After that, he has one more breakdown when I had to work instead of hanging out with him like I promised. That's like the worst things pretty much to also understand, but things have gotten better. He says he wants to change and get better. He apologizes. Okay, she's saying it's improving. He apologizes and recognizes mistakes. He's learning, wants to be good. I can see improvement every day. I mean, she could be like totally abusive, mind fucked here, but she could also be talking genuinely and having a good assessment of the situation. There's really no way to know without seeing the stuff that's actually going on between them. Apologizes and recognizes mistakes. He's learning, wants to be good. I see improvements every day. Showing me things to forget that I loved. To me, there's more pros, and I see how things get better. I think this more comes from Steven, feeling like he's losing me. Like he said, he would be surprised if I came back to Miami. I have a ticket back next week that I've had booked for 3 weeks now.
And she had a conversation with some of her other friends. He's talking about Tim because Tim went dramatic a month ago and stuff. He's been a little dramatic since, but he's been improving all the time. I don't find it abusive. I think Steven has made me feel 100 times worse by his actions. So it feels so weird that he has so many opinions right now. And then Melina says, Tim had a breakdown a month ago where he gave me an ultimatum. When I didn't take the option he wanted me to, he had a breakdown where he said that he was suicidal. After that, he tried to beg me to come over. I said no, but he didn't really respect it, and he kept pushing, etc. After that, he chilled out. When I was at TwitchCon, he went off on me, saying that poly was bad for kids. He took it back when I said that he was acting manipulative. Later that week, he invited a girl over that I really wanted to see, and it seemed like he only did it to get a reaction out of me. He apologized for it, and we all hung out, and it was fine. I also found out that he had talked some bad stuff about me behind my back to a close friend of mine, which felt a bit controlling. After that, he had one more breakdown when I had to work instead of hanging out with him like I promised. That's like the worst things pretty much, so I understand. But things have gotten better. He says that he wants to change and get better. He apologizes and recognizes his mistakes and says he's learning and he wants to be good. And I see improvement every day, and that's what I'll go by. Then there's plenty of things that he brings to my life that makes me happy. Yeah.
Okay.
So
wait.
Basically, every single, that's what I'll go by. Then there's plenty of things that he brings to my life that makes me happy. Yeah.
What comes soon? Fuck, we need to go back. Let's go back. Let's read these properly. Don't just skip over shit. Fucking. I think this more comes from Steven, feeling like he's losing me. Like he said, you'd be surprised if we came back. Something doesn't care how much I'll be in the States, as long as I still love him and he won't lose me. Can't see that. Couch, which we're going back to Sweden, friends and family around a lot. It's getting built up after all the trauma it's been the past few days, like the LS shit or any other drama. Yeah, so that's the LS mention. There we go. Just so happens that Tim is around a lot. He gets along with my friends and my family. He makes an effort to befriend them. So this is contradicting Destiny's claim earlier that Tim is cutting off Melina from her friends. Melina is directly contradicting that. So we're going to have to see some evidence from Destiny's side now that Tim is cutting her off. Because otherwise, that, you know, he is just trying to make this Tim guy sound worse than he is. He's saying, I've never felt as happy as I am now. Look at this TC Brady freak trying to just convince her to stay with Destiny as well. So gross. Yeah, guys, remember, go back and watch my Lauren Southern video, Destiny's Worst Kept Secret, it's called. It's now a prophetic video. I knew the whole time. I'm not a fucking retard.
take the option he wanted me to. He had a breakdown where he said that he was suicidal. After that, he tried to beg me to come over. I said no, but he didn't really respect it, and he kept pushing, etc. After that, he chilled out. When I was at TwitchCon, he went off on me, saying that poly was bad for kids. He took it back when I said that he was acting manipulative. Later that week, he invited a girl over that I really wanted to see, and it seemed like he only did it to get a reaction out of me. He apologized for it, and we all hung out, and it was fine. I also found out that he had talked some bad stuff about me behind my back to a close friend of mine, which felt a bit controlling. After that, he had one more breakdown when I had to work instead of hanging out with him like I promised. That's like the worst things pretty much, so I understand. But things have gotten better. He says that he wants to change and get better. He apologizes and recognizes his mistakes and says he's learning and he wants to be good. And I see improvement every day, and that's what I'll go by. Then there's plenty of things that he brings to my life that makes me happy.
I was straight up saying it's not that prophetic. It's just a coin toss. That's not what I was saying. Please try to listen.
Yeah. So she basically every single thing that I just said, okay, is part of that. And yeah, so I have so many different conversations of Mel talking to other people or other people talking about this that Mel has communicated with, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know why anybody would try to deny any of this stuff when it's like so obvious what's happened. And yeah.
It's just so obvious. It's just so obvious. With all this evidence I've provided, the one screenshot of a conversation between Melina and TC Brady that contradicts my story.
I think he's mentioned something about not, not living there. Oh, this is one super stupid part that I left out of the story. One super stupid part that I left out of the story was I told, Melina asked me when she was here in Miami, after Tim had threatened to kill himself, after he'd done all the manipulative shit, Melina was like, hey, you should add Tim on Discord and then you guys can have a conversation and then Tim will feel more comfortable about things. I'm like, are you gonna like make up with any of my friends? She's like, well, I don't know. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll add this guy and chat with him and you know, why the fuck not? So we chat for like 2 days, fucking kill me. Do you have any idea how hard it is to entertain these stupid fucking conversations? But yeah, like he mentions in here, like, oh, when you came here, you know, like I ran out of the apartment when you arrived, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, he tries to say like, oh, well, I didn't live with Mel. I don't live with Mel. That's not true. I don't know why he's saying that. He clearly does. He has a key and he lives there every single day and he's there when she's not in town.
What? Okay. No, he said he spends a lot of time there and he has a key, but he has his own place that he pays for, that he lives at. Destiny doesn't seem to be contradicting that. These don't show a contradiction to that. They just show that he was there at that time.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he also mentioned something about how I'm making up like the money thing. But again, I think the problem is I don't think he knows how much Melina told me because Melina probably lies to him. One of the conversations we had, I think it was on November 1st, Melina says, do you want me to tell you about Tim or would you rather me not? LOL. And I said, yeah, go for it. And she said, he had a bit of a cry today over financial stuff and he got very aggressive against me verbally. I kind of just ignored it. What financial stuff? And let him have a breakdown. Like, I said I pay for a...
What, you mean like she did with you as well, Destiny? You mean like the exact same thing she did with you when you were screaming at her in DMs as you were breaking? Okay.
lot pretty much, and he should probably do his share, especially if he's here a lot. And it was just an interesting reaction. But yeah, I just got very cold. I wonder how much money he actually makes or has saved up. Yeah, he says he isn't making much now because he hasn't worked, and I told him that he needs to, especially if he's going to demand things from me and all. He called me greedy and spoiled, LOL, for making more than he does. And
okay, so he hasn't worked. That's not saying he doesn't have a job. That's saying he hasn't put much time into his career, which is like TikTok shit, right? So to say he doesn't have a job, like this is like saying any streamer or whatever doesn't have a job if they just don't put much effort into it for a while, right? I mean, it's funny to say, but I don't think Destiny would agree that that's no job.
I'm like, I don't want this dynamic. It's not okay for me. And he had his breakdown. I said I'm going outside to eat. He can come talk to me when he stopped crying. He came down later and apologized and said I was right. LOL. Jeez. Oh yeah, and it's interesting too. He seems to have zero interest in the other friend that I said that he was mind-fucking her with, but he also doesn't want me to see her alone, and like, Blank and I want to hang out so much. We're like texting every day, good night and good mornings. And it's a bit weird because she probably feels like he doesn't like her. I'm not sure. up here, I responded and said, yeah, this is exactly what I said yesterday. LOL. He's never going to let you go alone. He might be scared of you hanging out with other people alone, and he probably doesn't really like it when you guys hang out with others or in a group. He wants it to mainly be one-on-one. Yeah, maybe, but oh my God. Yeah, maybe, but oh my God. I really, really want to see her.
Okay, I don't. If someone prefers hanging out one-on-one to in a group, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. So I don't know what his point is there.
I've been like crushing all day, so I'm just frustrated. Just go and see her. Why let Tim stop you? Hopefully I get to see her this weekend. I was close to today, but my throat started hurting and stuff. I'll text her tomorrow. I really like this girl. She told me she wrote about me in her grateful journal. What's that? Well, things she's thankful for, blah, blah, blah. And then our
Yeah. I think this is a lesbian situation going on here. Yeah, and he doesn't want to be polyamorous. Yeah, that seems to be what's being implied.
conversation ends. But yeah, so like, yeah.
It's a bisexual
every single
woman
claim
moment.
that I have made,
Very common.
I can back up with like 50 million different, what if she's lying to you and it's just a habitual lie? Every single thing that she's talked to me about, she's talked to a ton of other people about because she overshares like a motherfucker. She had the same conversation with another guy.
But there's no evidence that Tim's controlling her relationships. It could be that he's drawing a boundary that she's getting too emotionally involved with this girl or sexually involved with this girl, and he doesn't want to be poly. That's not controlling relationships. So you basically say you don't want to be poly. Like, he's not showing evidence of the strong claims he's making here.
When I said that he has to pay, he got upset when I said that I pay for most things / everything, and if he wants to be in my apartment and take up space for his stuff, he needs to pay his share, and he called me greedy and privileged. He seems to be more trouble than he's worth. I don't know. I'm just letting him cool.
You didn't really say that? Okay, so what we're saying is the controlling part of it. Is it not being upfront about the reason for why you don't want him to hang out? Or is it? Because it all just seems like a bunch of kind of toxic, mismatched people pressing each other's buttons and pushing boundaries and then trying to... I just don't see that necessarily this shows that Tim is cutting her off from all of her friends. Because I suppose my point is that what Destiny is trying to use this as evidence for is that Tim is trying to isolate Melina. Now, what Melina claims is that Tim is actually very good with her friends and family and tries to befriend them. But Destiny is using this one specific example of this one specific relationship where it seemed like they were getting quite involved and Tim wasn't comfortable with it and started being a bit controlling to prove that the rest of it... your super chat was with Tim guy, but there's no evidence for anything Destiny's saying. He has not shown evidence. It's not being charitable, just not believing someone's an abuser without evidence. I won't do it when some whore writes a twit longer. I won't do it when Destiny comes on stream to spite his ex-wife.
Off. He got extremely emotional for some reason. You're staying in someone's apartment, you can pay your way. By the way, he does live there. Yeah, oh, and this was on...
No, Destiny said he was isolating her from her friends and family. That's what Destiny said.
Oh, these stupid dates. 1/11. What is that, November? Or whatever the 11th month is on the 1st, right? Yeah, and I didn't even...
I'll accept his word for things that it seems like both parties agree on. If both parties are agreeing on events and framing, then I'm going to... on events or framing, I should say, then I'll take that face value. But if Destiny's making a strong negative claim towards someone, then yeah, it needs to be evidence. No, Destiny said isolate. Destiny said isolate. You're back. Okay, low sodium's gone. Because you said too much retarded shit. Destiny said isolate earlier in the stream. It's okay if you weren't listening, but you're banned.
I didn't even really tell him to pay rent. I just said to pay more for groceries. Oh, is this just from when you were together in Sweden, or is he living there now? I'm in Sweden now, back for a month, so this just happened. Oh, okay.
Link.
But, okay. Yeah.
I'll unban you when you join. I'm not getting bogged down like arguing like these retarded points with stupid fucking DGGers that just say incorrect things or like, you know, just say your takes are bad and then never explain an actual reason. I'm just not gonna sit here and fucking entertain that or have them around because it's mad annoying.
Anyway, I think I've like said most of what I need to say. There are other like abusive and manipulative things that this guy has done. There are other stories I could tell, but again, like I feel like I've already like mined quite a bit. I've already mined like quite a bit on this. There's like been so much shit, but yeah. I don't know if there's like anything else I need to. Yeah. Why does she talk to so many fucking people about your problems? Are you the reason Mel blocked TC Brady? Yes.
Yeah, everybody actually needed to do any of this. There was absolutely no. I'm lost on the justification.
To people are problems. I don't know. It's an issue. She just like mines for validation for other people, but yeah. Okay. I think I don't know if there's anything else I need to say on this. There was one final thing. Oh yeah. The only reason I published these DMs is because I'm pretty sure within these, every single thing that I claimed about Tim, Melina has also said about Tim to other people. I'm not making anything up.
Not true.
I've never lied about
Incorrect.
A single thing related to any
that.
of this. I can't imagine either of them. This is why I kept saying that like they're not going to go public. They wouldn't go public. They never go public because I don't know why the fuck they would want to when everything I'm saying is obviously true.
Yeah, obvious. Everyone's saying it. Mel needs validation from other people, not me though. I don't seek validation from 50k people. When he talks to 10 people, he talks to 10k. Yeah, like the proportion is just insane.
Some looks stupid. I don't know why the fuck you would do this.
There's absolutely no reason to blow
no.
up publicly like this. It is not showing justification for that at all.
Yeah. Ayla Molina memes? There are no Ayla Molina memes. Henry, I did get finessed. True.
Okay, Henry's just retarded.
Farha memes? I don't even know. Destiny, I'm sure you're busy. Sometime next year, would you be open to discussing morality as a luxury? The cultural analysis is very 1D to me. I feel material conditions / environment plays much a larger role, and there's an objective morality. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's like anything else. I feel like it's all mostly wrapped up. V memes, other people have just like was this about you? The Seth Everman tweet? Wish I knew a lot less about all things and people. That was almost certainly about me, but it was probably Tim and Melina doing damage control by telling Seth all the abusive and horrible things that I do, and I'm almost sure that's what that was about. So, yeah.
What? I assume he's talking from their perspective. Right? He's not calling himself abusive there, and I see he's just admitting to it again. In which case, DGG is really gonna keep disagreeing with me. It's just.
How did you keep your composure so well on stream? The last toxic relationship I had, I was a fucking wreck in all walks of life.
He didn't keep himself composed. He's just gone on a massive schizophrenic manic rant.
Honestly, I think a big part that helped was that one. I feel like over the past, especially year and a half, I feel like I've put in a lot of effort to my relationship stuff, and I feel like the other party hadn't as much. And then two, I feel like a lot of the areas of my life are really good right now, and if I like cut this thing out, it would be better. I mean, like it hurt for a while. Obviously, I was upset for a little bit. But I think when I had like a clear picture of everything, I was like, I'm not super, like, I mean, you can see that like this shit is fucked, right? And then when I look back and I have clear eyes, I'm like, this is retarded. Why the fuck am I like, why am I doing all of this? Like, this is so wacky. I should just like do shit on my own. This is stupid. So yeah, I think it was fine. What does your life look like going forward? I don't know. Just gonna work a lot because that's what I do. I'm a worker. How are people able to gaslight you? The things you just described seemed really obvious. There's one thing that I've said that I'm going to hold hardcore going forward, and I'm not going to let people bully me on this one anymore, is when you're having a debate or a conversation, even if it's a relationship one, I think I said this yesterday on stream, you should be able to lay down clearly, factually, things that have happened. And when people start fighting you or arguing with you about like, oh, you're gaslighting me, or oh, you're not talking about my feelings at all, I think those are manipulator tactics. You should be able to come to an agreement on factually things that have happened before anything else, and then you can have a discussion about the feelings and everything. But the issue is I feel like I had so many mutual friends that kept both sides in every disagreement that we had, even though I felt like there were so many disagreements. They're like, Melina is clearly in.
He's been saying factually incorrect things, and then talking about because like he's working in the idea that Melina felt threatened by the suicide comment into the factual statement, right? He hasn't done the part where you agree on what factually happened and then talk about the feelings. He hasn't done that. Now he's done that. Now that Tim's pushed back on it.
The wrong or lying here. I don't know if it's because people have like a desire to both sides things, or people like don't want to take a side and seem biased, or if people legitimately are being finessed too well by Melina, or if I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not sure. But also, I come off as really aggressive, and I come off as like really debatey, so I can see people being annoyed by that. I don't know. Chain Shot, thanks for the tier 5 sub, everybody. But I think I mentioned this before.
Women actually don't enjoy it when you try to debate them out of their feelings. Crazy.
It's like one of the big disagreements that me and Melina had
over
like, I hooked up with a person, and Melina said that I didn't tell her for 5 or 6 days afterwards. But it was 40 hours. It was like 2 days, less than 2 days. Or like Melina said that like I ghosted her for 3 or 4 days. It was 1 day. It was 30 hours. I slept and then I woke up and I missed her. And the problem is anytime we have a conversation with mutuals, well, because Melina will bring mutual friends in to moderate the discussions, and Melina's told them her version of stories. And then when we start talking, I understand why the mutuals are siding with her. Because if I'm legitimately ghosting Melina for like 3, 4, 5 days, like that's pretty wild. But like, I don't think I've ever gone 4 days without messaging my wife. I don't think I've ever gone 2 days without messaging my wife. That's crazy. But then I'm like, well, hold on. Let's like establish a fact pattern here. It was not 4 days, okay? It was 30 hours. I slept 1 day and then I texted you the next morning. But then as soon as I would try to bring up like these facts, people are like, okay, well now, Steven, it sounds like you're just debating. It sounds like you just want to be like an attorney or a prosecutor. You're not listening to how they feel about things. That would drive me crazy. I think if I date another woman in the future, if I end up dating,
that's facts,
it's going to be somebody that's on the same wavelength of like, hey, we're both kind of like more discreet and more rigid in terms of like how we do like our fact pattern establishment before we argue about things. Like, I think it's fair for me to ask that. And I think my way is better. I think there's a lot of stuff in relationships.
No, facts are facts.
A long time
facts are facts. Sometimes something happens one way, and that's just the way it happened.
So I thought there's like one way to do it, and then
almost
my mind
all the time,
opened,
in fact.
but now like my mind was too open, and now I'm like there are multiple ways to do things, but some things are clearly wrong. There are some ways of doing parts of relationships that are just wrong, and you shouldn't do these, and you should work on these. And I think that this is one of those things that if you do this a lot, or if the other party does this, you should change them. Not being able to discuss an actual fact or an actual date or a time period. Not being able to discuss that and having the other person say you're gaslighting them or you're denying their feelings or whatever because they don't want to discuss, like that's a red flag. I think you should never do that. Yeah, that's dumb. I think. Do you think her personal crisis had anything to do with how she got so warped in 2 months? Like she could lean on him in her crisis rather than you? Nah. Did Brittany moderate any of those talks? It sounded very Brittany. I would never trust Brittany to moderate.
She completely dismisses that. Do you not think that maybe when your wife was getting charged with tax evasion, that maybe she just wanted to lean on someone who was closer and more around? And that could be the reason? Nah. Okay, bro.
Any of my docs? No. Yeah. Why don't you date a man? True. Let's get that gay riz.
Jesus. This guy's gonna get AIDS.
Date someone more famous next time so we get more collab content? True. You should never let your friends moderate the conversation talks again. They sound like dog shit. I think I just need to represent my side of the argument stronger, which I started doing more in arguments. I think even in some of the calls we've had, I think I even say where they're like, oh, well, I see both sides. I'm like, hold on. You can't, there are no both sides to this because she's saying 3 and I'm saying 7. Don't both sides this. I need you to like have a stronger stance here. I've started saying that more though in conversations too. Yeah. Okay. I think that, Yeah, I think we're Gucci. I know there's a lot of other people that talked about shit. I might watch some of these VODs tomorrow. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Wait, now he's gonna go over Molina's VODs.
Read the mean message you sent about Tim getting a job.
He's doing his own divorce react content. He's stealing my bit. He's stealing my bit. I'm the one watching all your divorce VODs.
I don't remember what the last paragraph was. Maybe Tim should go and get a job, or you can both move into Tim's
It's a Hunter
apartment since
Avalon
it's been
moment.
sitting there unused, and since Tim's mom's cleans it once a week, it'll be an upgrade now because now you guys have your own maid. Among other things. I said more password. That's just like, it was just it was a mean message. But I'm also like, the audacity to come back and say that I owe you some huge sum of money. Like.
The stream was today.
Why not watch some VODs now? Because I got shit I have to do tonight because I have,
AIDS.
Were you serious about the Forsen stuff? No. The reason why Forsen and I can't be in person together is because I'm the one that coached him through all of the Minecraft speedrun stuff, and I don't want people to pick up on it, but... Address the blackmail claim quick? Okay, last thing and then I gotta leave. I should just do these tomorrow, but...
You saw the Molina Destiny thing. I don't know if you saw Destiny.
Let's go, MrGirl, back in the action. Let's fucking go.
He lightly threatening in a subtle way of saying, "I wrote an 11-page manifesto on."
Yeah, he's blackmailing her.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's blackmailing her. He's saying there's unsigned, unfinished legal agreements, and we might talk about this more too.
Everything is signed
I mean, Max 1.
and finished. The court's already accepted all of our paperwork. I don't
Okay, this was before that you had everything.
know what he means by that, but okay.
This was like, I think this was like a hotline a week ago, right? Yeah, this was the last hotline, so that would have been Saturday. So this was literally almost a week ago. So the information that he's got here is not the information that is on right now. Antonio, do you mind just let me finish this VOD because there's actually 2 minutes 42 left. Is that cool with you? Have you got time?
And I have a document. Yeah, that's blackmail.
Yeah.
It's illegal. She should sue him, but
I don't know if she can sue him for anything specific, though. Unfortunately,
she could sue him for blackmailing her.
it's
illegal. It's literally illegal.
I don't know if that's a hard one to prove, though, right?
I know where she could find a lot of evidence that this is a recurring intentional pattern of behavior.
Okay.
Just saying.
Max
okay.
1. Max 1.
Thank you for the legal expertise.
Holy
All right,
fuck.
okay. All right.
Well, I care about that.
I love you guys.
Okay.
I
Someone get back
think
stream
we're going
link and
to,
watch it after this conversation.
But I think my whole schedule is like is rocky as fuck for the last like stream. I think at noon tomorrow. We'll see. Who knows? Mostly done with all this, and you feel like you want to find you know everybody has a chance to say the reason you really want to. If somebody wants to make a statement about things that they feel have happened, that they feel like I've done that are unfair, and you feel like you want to blah blah blah, even though doing all this publicly is cringe, I acknowledge that is. I'm not gonna like do a response video to every single thing. That's fine. You know, everybody has a chance to say the reason you really want to. But if you claim that I lie, or if you lie about things, obviously I'm gonna respond. I have no idea.
But you should respond to the claims that are lies. You shouldn't respond. You shouldn't respond by just leaking a bunch of miscellaneous, embarrassing information about the relationship.
He thought he was so confident that he could give an interview and blatantly lie about so many things and think that I didn't have any proof of anything.
But you didn't. I don't think there was anything he proved was a lie in that conversation. It was just different framings.
The only possible thing I can think of is Molina lied to him about how much I knew. That's the only possible thing I can think of. So, you know, consider, you know, what's going on. But yeah, I love you guys. It's been fun. Stay safe.
Okay.
We're going to capture.
Well, that's fucking absolutely retarded, and there's no justification for what Destiny's doing right now. But whatever. We've always just MrGirl clip now.
You saw the Molina Destiny thing. I don't know if you saw Destiny lightly threatening in a subtle way of saying, "I wrote an 11-page manifesto on." You know,
Yeah, he's blackmailing her.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's blackmailing her. He's saying there's unsigned, unfinished legal agreements, and we might talk about this more in 2 weeks. And I have a document I've written. Yeah, that's blackmail.
Yeah.
It's illegal. She should sue him, but
Based.
that's just
I don't know
my
if she
opinion.
can sue him for anything specific, though, unfortunately.
She could sue him for blackmailing her.
It's
It's illegal. It's literally illegal.
I don't know if that's a hard one to prove, though, right?
I know where she could find a lot of evidence that this is a recurring intentional pattern of behavior.
Yeah, okay, we know. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're not the only one who sees it. I see a lot of other people see it. President Sunday called it out. I know he's not a greatest, but yeah, we all see what's happening. All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Nice.
All right, you have a good one, bud.
All right, you too.
Later.
The farticle. Can you more clearly make the case that it's blackmail? Yeah. As you spend more and more time around Destiny and his orbit, and you see more and more people get the spotlight put on them, endure harassment and humiliation, doxing, what have you, from his community, you understand the language of dog whistles and calls to action from Destiny. I mean, especially if you've been right up there as his wife, you get the fucking picture. And then for him to say, I'm not sure if I'm going to talk about this. Maybe we'll talk about this more in 2 weeks. I think we're coming to some legal agreements that I'm more comfortable with. We'll see what happens there, but I might talk about it more. I don't know. We'll see. To me, and I think to anyone who is not a cultist, is a clear threat of, I am going to direct my audience to harass you and make your life miserable.
True.
Also, much of her audience is an overlap with his audience, so I'm also going to cause you financial trouble and harm your career and your reputation. I'm going to divulge embarrassing, humiliating things about you, as I've done to countless other people on stream after having sex with them and then deciding that they're my enemies. And I'm going to do all of this if you don't make whatever legal agreement, sign whatever thing, give me whatever money back, whatever. You don't do what I want. I'm going to divulge damaging information about you. That's the definition of blackmail. That's my case.
Okay, well, I mean, where is the lie? Where is the lie? Has MrGirl ever been wrong? Has he ever been wrong? I don't think MrGirl has ever said anything that I would disagree with in the absolute slightest. Ever. Period. That's a joke. That's a joke. I'm just being clear. That is a joke.